I made a shocking discovery today when I was hanging out over at MEUK's Discord server.
Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Well, are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Well,
sound level.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a debate. We just say debate as kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. So digital demonic,
yeah, more entertainment then, right?
That's what I typically mark them as entertainment.
So this is another thing that I wanted to go over now. We do have a man on the job talking to the surveyors and all of that, but this was particularly George questioned my level, my auto level. Now, there'd already been another, I don't know, I suppose you could call it a case of doxing. I might get that one out later if we need to. Where John and Slice Barcane had worked together to find out about sending emails about level being horizontal to the company that I'm going to talk to in a bit. Hopefully it comes through. It might be a bit lower on his end. But George, this is what George does first. So we're in a debate. I call it a debate. It's not a debate. We're in an entertainment conversation over at McToon's where George, well, I think McToon's had something on the list about my level and accuracy and all of that because he doesn't understand it. It sounds to me as though George had been prompted to this because he keeps trying to jump the gun on what McToon's is doing. But I'll let you hear what George says about the level that I bought. So I went to the shop initially to buy this level, and well, this is what George says. Oh, how it
only
goes.
Graded by the centimetre. Actually, I've got one that's graded at the half centimetre. But those ones that are graded at the centimetre won't mean that the error is 5 millimetres just because of the grading on the staff. That's
right.
what I was saying.
You have to have finer graduations on your staff if you're going to do what you're trying to do in 30 millimeters. I mean, you can't. That's much too gross in order to make any sort of measurements on that staff. What you'd probably do is maybe put a piece of paper on that staff and make a mark with a fine pen or a pencil, and then go with that. I mean, you can't go with the markings on your staff to do leveling at distances of 30 millimeters.
Did you hear that? What George was saying there? Or you're not listening?
Yeah,
He said 30 millimeters. So you're grading on the staff, and you would have to put a piece of paper on there if you are working over distances of 30 millimeters. I'll try it again. He says 30 millimeters twice.
You have to have finer graduations on your staff if you're going to do what you're trying to do in 30 millimeters.
30 millimeters.
That's much too gross in order to make any sort of measurements on that staff. What you'd probably do is maybe put a piece of paper on that staff and make a mark with a fine pen or a pencil, and then go with that. I mean, you can't go with the markings on your staff to do leveling at distances of 30 millimeters.
30 millimeters again.
distance of 30 millimeters.
George has lost it. He's
yeah.
He shouldn't be around this arena, having entertaining conversations like this. This man. In fact, it gets better, right? 30 millimeters. You know what that is? Like, that's 3 centimeters.
Yeah. It's
that's how far away you're going to be reading your staff, apparently, according to George.
It's like an inch and a half. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now listen to what sort of accuracy.
I mean, only if you're only trying to get within a centimeter, but with what you're trying to do.
You're trying to get within a centimetre. So, like, over the distance of 3 centimetres, you can be accurate within a centimetre. George he's lost it. George is gone. Like, there's not much point for this poor old man to be around measuring these sort of things at these sort of distances. McToons hasn't listened to him. He's not like George. Come on, 30 millimeters, George. What are you doing?
In splitting hairs
30
and stuff,
meters,
you're going to
George.
have to have much finer graduations than any of your standard surveying staffs.
Okay. Right, so we need finer graduations than any surveying staffs.
To be accurate within
30 millimeters. Within 1 centimetre over 30 millimeters. Yeah.
That's so stupid. Maybe he meant 30 meters.
He might have meant 30 meters, but why would you need a regraded staff with a piece of paper on it, marking with a fine pen? I mean, why would you do that? What's up with the actual tools that surveyors use?
Because he just uses a stick. He doesn't use a measuring rod. He just uses a blank stick and he puts marks on it. And Rodney B was telling him, "You get your ass fired doing that in the real world."
So we were talking about my test, George, and we were talking about establishing a horizontal. Right, so McToon's here. I mentioned test. McToon's deflects. Right?
What's the margin of error on your auto level, considering things like the have you
I can address that. Too.
Yeah. I can address that, McToons.
I can see you're struggling. Let me try to help you think here.
And he's like, not yet. You come in a minute, George. Slow down.
Yeah.
So I use auto levels.
Yeah. So what model do you have there, Bev?
Bev.
Oh yeah. Oh, not me.
Bev has a particular one that he owns.
Yeah.
And likes to.
Which one is it?
It's the AL32.
What manufacturer?
Datum.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar with that one.
Okay, I'm familiar with that one. Right, now, I'll give you a little brief outline of this. It's a homemade level by the firm that we did. They're very proud of it. So it's not...
In the UK.
Yeah. It's not a mass sold thing, right? So it's a... I'll tell you. Yeah. Probably been shown it before, right? Did George send you the email? George. Sorry, not George. Jeff.
George, do you think George sent George an email? John.
No.
Yeah, John was the one that sent an email to John Rawlinson, the troll on Twitter. Yeah. He's Jeff's mate, big and Slice Barkane's mate as well.
So I was looking at purchasing. I was looking at purchasing one of those several months ago, but then
from the UK,
I determined that the optics are substandard on
from
that
the UK. You were going to buy it from the UK, were you, George?
Yes, I was going to have Rumpus send it to me.
Oh my God! Rumpus send it to him.
Look how stupid he looks right there. Flying like that.
It's obvious that this. Jeff was in earlier. George has been brought in. They tapped Jeff out, and to bring George in, and then George has been brought in to, I don't know, ruin this. Downplay the level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
and you
I
say
decided
what's up with
after
it?
looking at it that it's much too cheap for
Too cheap.
what they claim it to be, that the optics are a bit substandard on the thing. It only has a 40 millimeter aperture.
Yeah, it only has a 40 millimeter aperture. Now, Spot On was talking about his one yesterday. He said it had a 30 mil aperture. So it's got more than Spot On's. But Spot On's only had a 20 times scope, I think his one. It's not a 32 times scope. But so 40 mil is bigger than Spot On's level.
right, in the aperture range. But I mean, what's the aperture got to do with it? Let's have a listen, George.
To do a 32x auto level with a 40 millimeter aperture.
He says 32x.
Yep.
What's that mean?
32 times.
Yeah, it's a 32 times magnification, isn't it? It's not 32x magnification. It's that's the times, 32 times scope.
Mm-hmm.
George, he's shouldn't be around. I'm telling you.
The image is going to be too dark to do what I want to do.
The image is going to be too dark to do what George wants to do. That's
Yeah, you had to figure out something. some
look
bullshit.
through a scope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you want to do with it?
Well, I want to be able to sight out. I was hoping to get something that might be equivalent to the TopCon
The Jesse model.
AKG2 that I'm using, which is a 32X. I wanted a second one, but not spend as much money. But turns out that if you
32X.
want quality, you got to
So
spend
what
money.
do you want to do? If you want quality, you've got to spend money.
Mm.
Yeah, you
That
know,
makes
like, I
sense.
mean, yeah. With it, George, was the question. What is it that
Well, I
you're
wanted to
after
get
doing?
lighter images. I wanted to get lighter images,
Lighter
than
images.
what I've been getting taking out of the auto levels that I use. The images tend to be a bit dark when I'm sighting out at 6 miles.
Right.
Mm.
Now, I'll give you a hint here that when people are doing surveying, they don't take images with a lightness in them, because surveyors don't take pictures. They just look through the auto level, take a measurement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't look 6 miles
6
away.
miles, no.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wouldn't want to take a picture of something through an auto level that's 6 miles away and be bothered about how light the picture is. I mean, I don't know, George. He's obviously lost it. He's struggling. Poor chap.
Yeah.
You sight 6
but I
miles
decided
with
I
an
don't
auto
need
level.
I don't need an auto level to do what I want to do. I
He's
just
decided now he doesn't need an auto level to do what he needs it to do, because he needs it to take pictures. So what he needs is a camera. Alzheimer's is setting in for George.
purchased a new TopCon GTS 3B, which is a 30 power theodolite, which is going to be much better
30
than,
power.
and easy, much more accurate.
theodolite?
Well, not much more accurate, but will give me better images.
There you go.
and
Not much
give
more accurate, but it'll give him better images.
me self-correction that I can do each time I bring it out that you can't do with an auto level. An auto level, you have to calibrate
Self-correction.
it.
Yeah, self-correction. Listen to this. This is quite a good one, this.
Mm-hmm.
That I can do each time I bring it out that you can't do with an auto level. An auto level, you have to calibrate it and hope it stays in calibration, whereas with the theodolite, you can self-calibrate it every time you bring it out into the field. So
Yeah, I
I'm going to
bet
be
you can.
using
You can self-calibrate it every time you take it out in the field.
Yeah, he can't
George-
even tie his shoes. How's he going
George
to
doesn't
calibrate
know.
a theodolite?
Doesn't know what he's talking about. Literally.
Yeah.
Doesn't know. A self-calibrating theodolite.
a 1 arc second theodolite from now on rather than using an auto level.
Okay. So, George, when I call this surveying company up tomorrow to ask them about this level, what is it that you should think I should tell them about the substandard thing? Because they said to me it was the most accurate level they had for establishing a horizontal.
Yeah,
Like
well,
they said,
I mean, that-
George,
you know,
it's within 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double run. Now, do you not think that's accurate enough or something?
Well, that's different than talking about setting accuracy. Setting accuracy, you do not get 1 millimeter
It's a
sighting
tool
1
for
kilometer.
doing a job, right? that accuracy of 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double run is the accuracy it is to do the job it is determined to do.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. That's pretty standard for a 1 arc second auto level. It'll do
for
the
a
job
32
for you,
times
yeah.
scope auto level. Yeah, for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, right, George?
At your point of where you set it up, yes, you
Right.
can set up a horizontal plane, but you cannot. Well, I'd have to see how far out do you want to establish that horizontal
Over a
plane?
mile, George. We want 3
can't do
points on the same
You can't.
horizontal over 1 mile.
And how do you how are you proposing to do that?
To get surveyors to come and establish
He's going to
a
hire
horizontal
a professional surveyor.
Yeah,
Yes, but I mean, how do you propose that they're going to do that? A surveyor is going to tell you to go
don't know,
take a
like,
hike.
you're
gonna
the one
try to get a
that's-
horizontal plane established over 1 mile.
they're going to tell us. Did you hear that?
Yeah, go take a hike.
Surveyors
Yeah.
will tell you to go and take a hike if you ask them to establish a horizontal plane over a mile. I'll play that again because
I think they have a real problem with surveyors for some reason. They don't like surveyors, it seems like.
if they don't like us talking to surveyors, I think that's what it is, right? They want to. They're going to try and make it that we're the bad guys and we don't like surveyors. But I mean, I do. I really like surveyors. I know how they work and I know how they do their job. And to me, people like George here are just rubbishing a whole profession.
Mm-hmm.
Professional surveyor.
Yeah, listen.
Yes, but I mean, how do you propose that they're going to do that? A surveyor is going to tell you to go
don't know,
take a
like,
hike.
you're
gonna
the
try
one
to get a
that's-
horizontal plane established over 1 mile.
They're going to tell us to what, George?
Take a hike.
What, do you say they can't do it or what?
Not the way that I've heard you proposing how you want it done.
I just want them to establish a horizontal over 1 mile.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, they could bring a theodolite, a very accurate theodolite, and establish a horizontal plane over 1 mile. It's going to cost you a pretty penny to do that because that's probably going to take a good afternoon to set up and do.
Just an afternoon. With a theodolite.
Yeah, an afternoon, maybe a day. I don't know. It just depends upon the terrain that you're setting this on.
Okay. McToons had just done their costing for a 3-day job. But so George obviously hadn't heard what McToon was doing a little bit earlier. Just not listened to it. So that was over there at McToon's. Now, this is the bit. This may be really quiet on the guy's end, but I called the surveying place up. I use the name of the old firm that was there. So, do anybody want to have a word about what they think George was just doing just then?
George's been doing the same crap for a long time.
He rubbished this auto level. He did. He absolutely rubbished it. Right. If you were to hear that, what would you think about the tool that I just bought, or that I was using? I mean, this.
Oh well, if I didn't know better and I didn't know George, yeah, I'd say, oh wow, that must be a substandard auto level there because
It'd be more like a novelty item than an actual useful tool.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Well, so I call them up. So this is me calling the surveying place up. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, yes.
Oh yeah. Is that you, the guys at the Zenith surveying?
Yes, the alternative survey. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I came to you and I bought an auto level off you a couple of months ago. Maybe a little bit longer. An AL32 Datum.
Yes.
Right. I was in a debate last night with an American man who said he'd looked into that particular level, and he was questioning the optics within that model of thing. So I'm just questioning, because I get the feeling I'm going to be in a debate again at some point with them when they're questioning the optics within that particular level. So can I just run over some of the things that I think I got when I bought it from you? Okay, right. Now, when I came, I asked for the best level to set a horizontal, right, and the most accurate that you could get. And you sort of said that, you know, like other ones cost more, but that particular auto level, although it was very cheap, I mean, like a brilliant price for it, and it has been a very, very good piece of equipment for me. But would that be right, me thinking that you, when you said that it is like the most accurate at establishing a horizontal?
It's got the accuracy is at plus 1.0 millimeters per double.
Yeah, that's what I got. 1 millimeter per 1 kilometer double run, right?
Yeah, per double kilometer run it's at plus 1.0 millimeter.
Yeah, and that is more accurate than any of the other equipment.
Let's see what the AL32 does. Times magnification and 1.6 millimeter standard deviation for 1 kilometer double leveling.
Right, so that would be what, like, because I was asking whether the I've heard a lot of people say that the lasers they go a bit funnier over a distance, right? You know, they.
I don't know, because the majority of the lasers now come with digital receivers, which do the millimeter increments, so I'm not sure how the duck is.
It's hard to hear him on that laser thing.
Yeah.
This has got a 32 times magnification.
Yeah.
Based on 1.0, and the NA32's got 32 magnification based on 1.6.
Oh, so that, yeah. So that, yeah, that's, I get it. So that's for a horizontal, right? And the like differential leveling techniques are taken into account. That isn't sighting a kilometer, is it?
I've got the setting accuracy on the Datum as plus 0.3. The setting accuracy is 0.5 on the Leica.
Yeah. Right, so that one
What did he say
there,
on that?
he said the setting accuracy. So it said on the, he's talking about the Leica there, is it that is the more expensive one. That it costs 2-3 times more than this one, but he said that the Datum, the the AL32 Datum level was at 1 millimeter per 1 kilometer double run. The Leica one with the 32 times scope was at 1.6 millimeters per 1 kilometer double run. So
Damn.
on that standards, the Datum is more accurate than the Leica. Then he said on the setting accuracy is 0.3 on the Datum and it's 0.5 on the Leica, so it's better than that one as well on the setting accuracy.
Yeah, I heard him say not 0.5. I wasn't sure what he was.
Yeah, that was on
referring to.
the setting accuracy of the other one. So yeah, that it is the more accurate. Yeah, that, I mean, that's brilliant. So you would still recommend that as a good piece of equipment?
I mean, AL32s. We do sell a lot of them, and we hold a lot in stock. It's the Leicas we don't hold, and it's like 99.50 plus that, where you're looking at nearly 200 quid for the Leica version.
Yeah. Okay.
I know you pay for really, in my opinion, is the name. It's a different name and a different colour.
Okay, well, we've got a bit of a test going on, really. This is why I got it. And the test is to set a horizontal over a mile distance. So I got that piece of equipment. Now, you would still say that is one of the best pieces of equipment for establishing a horizontal line.
Yeah, that's if you need the multiplication factor as well, focus and distance 0.5. Double sensitivity up to 2 millimeter. So even though it's a Datum one, it is one of the best ones we've got. And like you say, it's really cheap as well at the minute.
Right, yeah, well, brilliant. Like I say, we're doing a test and we're going to be setting up a website now. Would you mind if we sort of put that, put a link to, you know, if anybody wanted to buy it on the site so they could, they could.
If you go on our Venice Survey website, if you put in the AL32 in the search engine, it'll bring up all the specs for you anyway, so you can cross-reference it that way as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. You've been a great help. Thank you.
No problem. Cheers now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's like 1 millimeter in a 1 kilometer double run. That's 1/25th of an inch. That's so
There and back.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what George is talking about and all of that, right? That's me talking to the actual firm that I went to that calibrates the levels for Manchester, really. Yeah, and that's their level. They're very proud of it. I mean, I'm hardly surprising. £99.50 for one of the most accurate levels there is.
I'd buy one, but to ship it over here would probably cost another 99.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best pieces of equipment I've ever seen. You know, like for the price.
Yeah, I've looked through the scope, you know, but the phone, it's really nice.
Yeah, the lightness or whatever George was talking about, not got a clue. Doesn't.
Oh, it was plenty bright.
Yeah.
And the sun, it was plenty bright. In the shade, it was, you know, maybe even easier to read. So yeah, I don't know what he was talking about.
Well, they're obviously doing everything they can to refute the test.
Buster, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, a bit low. Let me see if we can turn you up.
I got you on 200 now. You're probably going to be booming loud.
Is it okay? Mic check?
Yeah, that's better.
A little better.
They're just going to do everything they can to refute the test.
Yeah.
The equipment, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for him to have a go at me, it's fair enough. I mean, we know they're going to call me doxer, they're going to call me child abuser, they're going to throw all sorts of things like that. But to have a go at the piece of equipment for no reason at all. They've not even... George is how I'm very familiar with that piece of equipment. But he's not. Because he's obviously not looked at the stats. The guy wouldn't recommend me. If I was looking for the best piece of equipment and I ask them what is the best they have, then it would be wrong for him to give me the thing that isn't the best piece of equipment. Right?
Yeah, he could have sold you the more expensive one, right?
He could have done, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the most accurate and the best piece of equipment or the cheapest or anything.
Yep.
So, George, like, you give it up. Don't be rubbishing people like that. That's not nice.
The other one was like a name brand, Leica or something. wasn't
Leica,
it?
yeah, that's the one
Yeah,
that they
that's
all
what you're paying
use. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just paying for a name there.
Yeah.
You're not paying for quality. Just a brand.
So that's me. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll perhaps cut that bit out of the live show and put that up on the website with a link to the datum. So we'll have the bit where George rubbises it, and then the phone call that they have after as well. I'll put that up on the level.live.